I would like you to send a message to the African Union that I will be addressing tomorrow about the rallying call for Africa. I would like you to tell the diasporans that they are welcome to come back here to the Gambia. They need to hear it from you.
The welcome would even be an insult.
Okay.
They have a right to come back to the Gambia and to other parts of the continent because they were taken from places to go and serve a foreign master. And as a result, those who left lost all trace of the real place where they originated from. The only conception they had is that they are from a continent. And that is what has brought about the whole concept of unification of the continent. That Africa must unite became a fundamental clarion call of people from the continent and from people, Africans from the diaspora. Because the people who had been taken away can no longer locate themselves on any tip of the continent. They can only locate themselves on the continent as a whole.
That's right.
So the continent owes them an obligation to unite and be one, so that we can become one people, one Africa, one people, one continent. That is what is required. And that is not only a demand which is sentimental, it is a demand that is a necessity.
Totally.
Why? Because our fragmented states, for over 50 years of national liberation and independence, are still dependent on external powers for our manufactured goods, for even to run our budgets in some instances, debts to build roads, when in actual fact, we are diamond producers, we are oil producers, we are copper producers, we are gold producers, we are producers of all sorts of raw materials, cocoa, tea, cattle,
rice,
everything that a human being needs.
That's right.
To have food, water, clothes, proper housing. We have everything. What do we need? A programmatic policy document that shows us how our raw materials should be harnessed, how they should be transformed into finished products in order to industrialize, and how to ensure that we distribute them in such a manner that we eradicate poverty. What type of system are we to produce to ensure that our collective terrestrial, atmospheric, as well as marine wealth will be the wealth of the African people, and that we'll be able to harness it by having the right policies so that our people will be able to channel themselves in the right positions of the division of labor in life, so that each will serve all and all will serve each. That is what we are calling for. Therefore, the people in the diaspora, Africans in the diaspora, are a resource of the continent.
We are indeed.
What ought to be done is for Africa to unify the continent and also call on the diaspora to become unified, to create a data bank for them, so that what they are, the capacities they have developed, the resources they have accumulated would be identified, and on the continent proper planning is done so that they will know how to implant that capacity and resource so that they will be part and parcel of Africa that is capable of being the architect of its own destiny. That is what is called for by our times of circumstances. That is the demand of the 21st century. We cannot go beyond the 21st century and still be the beggars of the human race.
No.
That is a crime.
It is.
Against humanity that African leaders cannot afford to be charged.
Absolutely.
So it means that in all our constitutions, there should be what you call citizenship on the basis of descent.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
And that descent would mean all Africans in the diaspora
That's right.
should, upon demand, acquire citizenship by descent.
I agree.
That is a provision that should be in every African constitution. And we must now start working for that to happen, and that should be a campaign. If it has not happened, for example, in our own recommendation to the Constitutional Review Commission of the Gambia, we have made that to be a principal recommendation of the political party that I represent, that we must have citizenship on the basis of descent, where those people who have left the continent centuries ago against their will be able to rely on that provision to become Gambian citizens. And we'll be campaigning for it. And we call on all people in the diaspora to campaign for that, to be part and parcel of the Gambian constitution, and send that message to all African leaders so that that provision will be part and parcel of the provision of all republican constitutions of every African country.
I totally, Classic family, we all agree. We all agree. This is what we're asking for. This is what we're calling for. In Ghana, they have the dual citizenship, they have the land, they have the program, they have the year of journey. We need to have this everywhere. It doesn't need to be 1 year. It needs to be all year, every year. This is what I'm saying. This is our home. We want to bring back, in America, $1.7 trillion is spent within the black community every year. That is their spending power. Bring that home. Bring that home. Help with the infrastructure of Africa. Africa is rich. Africa's not poor.